ऐसा ही हो जाता है. I'm just invite people who ask me. So any queries from your end?
Negative, sir.
You can take
I
earlier.
was yesterday, as I messaged you, there was some glitch that I couldn't go, but I have learned the procedure now, and I will be taking some funds, and then once I purchase, I'll let
Actually, what I'm finding is there are no challenges. It's just gaining, I'm starting off the investments with KYC and all that. Even I have faced after so many years of investing with my wife's KYC. But in some respects, they are very correct. They are very correct in asking people to do the re-KYC because there are a lot of technicalities which have creeped in. And most of the KYCs are actually rejected on the basis of names. Especially like we have South Indian names. And also we found like when we came to DMT, the South Indians had a lot of long names. So in order to shorten that, to put it in that small space which required for the daily sheet, and lasted us for 4 years. So they used to shorten names as they wanted. So the person himself will not know that it is my name. He would just look at it blindly. So that is the thing. So that is precisely the reason why they are all asked to do KYC. Like in my wife's case, we were one of the first people who started who got their cards made when the system was started. For 5-6 years, we had only that paper piece. We never had a PAN card. We only had that piece of receipt from the form which the department gave us, on which they wrote the PAN number. They generated it immediately. And in that, they automatically included DR because that time probably they wanted to include the title. So my wife's name was affixed with doctor. So naturally, this was a mismatch between the PAN card and Aadhaar card. So obviously, it will fail at some time because now Aadhaar and PAN are connected. So all this is actually happening for our benefit only. That the things at the time of payout is seamless. There are no problems created at any level. Government being government, they always like to do things in a little more abstract way or more perfect way. When I have seen now the close working of the government, they never leave anything to chance. They always think of the worst and all possibilities, and they make the entire thing so difficult that it becomes very confusing for a common man to understand.
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल correct. हाँ जी.
So this time already we have one gentleman who's joined new, and one will be coming probably later on, who have burnt their hands in FNO segment. So finally, so they were a little disturbed about it, but I said that whatever you spend in the process of learning, it is acceptable. So it is a learning cost which you can consider. It is a learning cost and that. I really don't know how to do setting of people can join without my. Let me just look for settings, host control, host management. Turn on the video, turn them. नहीं ये नहीं करते हैं, इसको नहीं करते. Settings. Anybody knows how to do it so that anybody can join on their own? Activities, add others. It's not there. Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, gentlemen, good afternoon. We are still 2 minutes before time, so welcome to the webinar. all what we call coffee pe charcha, which is my, and chai pe charcha, which is a general term. So if anybody has any queries, we can discuss it. Otherwise, we will start off with something more uh, tangible. This week there haven't been many queries otherwise from people, and if there were, I have tried to handle them in the way. Sir, this thing I wanted to send it to a gentleman from. I forget the names also in between. So quite a few people seem to be on board. Chief Engineer Surendra has become a regular invitee here. Chief Engineer, this Monday, I've been actually working on that thing, but still it is in the works. But very soon we are going to finalize and have a webinar specifically dedicated to private family trusts. Now we also have two CAs in the group. In fact, we have three. So they are still not very because it's not actually the work of a CA. It requires a lot more paperwork to be done, but it is a very effective and efficient way of planning your estate planning, which you are also at a stage, and quite a few of us are at that stage also. So it will be
Yeah, yeah. I have also postponed it till
yes,
I
because
get some
it
clarity
is
on it.
actually a one way street. It is not like you decide today and tomorrow you can dissolve it. There are two types. One is revocable, another irrevocable trust. So, but let us proceed with caution and as much as. Oh, hello,
Hello.
G. Hello. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Sorry, somebody
My
probably
signal may
looked
not
like
be
a.
good. My signal may not be good. I'm traveling.
Uh, who's speaking now? Right now? Sorry, I didn't get it. Somebody was speaking something, or was it a call on my phone? There was a call on my phone also. Anyway, so that is it. So family trust is actually much more important than a HUF or Hindu undivided family, which we have, and it is more universal because HUF is not applicable to certain segments of the society. It's not allowed for them, as the name suggests. But we will move ahead. Before I move ahead, let me discuss this about this spam, which my one of our senior colleagues, his wife received about opening a account in Axis Bank. So it's not a spam mail. It is an actual mail that he received because he's very qualified and versatile at net. Even I mean, he's 10 years our senior, but very good at it. My senior, he's a captain he's a captain, and his name is Viresh Malik. So he's been a person whom I've been looking up to for quite a few years, ever since the advent of the internet was there in 90s, late 90s. So he is also the pioneer of auto journalism in the country. He was the first auto journalist who used to write regularly in Intelligent Investor, what is now called Money Outlook. And so his wife received this mail, and apparently this account was opened in that bank, and he has been taking up it in a very aggressive way because certainly the her phone number was used to open the account, and if at all her Aadhaar card or PAN card was used, then this is another level of spam, not a spam, I would call it a scam, which we are going to foresee because you do not know where these accounts are going to be opened. So please watch out for this kind of things. Viresh always gives a heads up for any problems, and because of him, a lot of activities in the social sector have happened, and not only the marine. I mean, he's not restricted to the marine like I have done myself. From the like they say Thanda Basta of the government, he has taken out something called the public grievances. So there was a public grievance bill which was there lying somewhere in the cold storage, and he took it out and he brought it to the notice of the government through the court, and he said that this should be brought out, and he himself has been filing quite a few public grievances. For every 10 public grievances which he files, he used to file one grievance in lieu of all those which have not been attended. And this is a very, very valid forum, and I will write it down for you on the Telegram. This thing you can refer to it. It is called pgportal.gov.in. So this is the website. You can register yourself. Any of your grievances which don't get handled by anybody, you can address it to this portal, except the matter of pension. Everything else is taken care of it. I am not sure how it is in the last 2 3 years, but earlier I had when my solar panel was installed, I was not able to get the approval from the Ministry of Solar Energy Corporation of India, who was sponsoring this before. So waiting for about 2 months. After that, I filed a PG grievance, and within 18 hours, my uh, permission was given from Delhi, and the secretary phoned me up directly saying that your approval was already there. You didn't have to file a public grievance. So such is the power. Then on the state level, again, it got jammed. During the demonetization, I used to regularly file this PG portal, PG compliance, this thing regarding the cash not being available in the machines, and it used to be handled at a very good speed. So those who have not been not heard of it in India should be able to use it to your good advantage and never be scared of using it. Once, in fact, one of the masters went for the hardcover revalidation certificate from the MMD in Noida, and the surveyor was misbehaving. So then when he put it on the group, I told him to file this. While he was sitting there, this gentleman, the surveyor, got a call from DG Shipping, and matter was handled, and things have been better than that. So there are quite a few people here. Shall we start off, or should I take up any queries that you have? There are 2 3 people here who have joined for the first time, and they are still to start off on the journey to investment through mutual funds. Needless to say that though most of you are familiar with what we stand for and the reason why we do mutual funds, I have come to know from these PIS and non-PIS account queries on the group that a lot of people are into stocks. It's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Once you complete your mission of OCR and you become matured, there's no harm in buying direct stocks, because now you know the theory. And when a person will compare his returns from both, then he would realize that whichever is better. One allows you the freedom of doing anything what you want. Another requires you to be stationed with your machine and looking out for the daily developments. It's not that I never did direct trading, direct purchase, sale purchase of stocks. I did from 13th of September, 2 days after the 9/11 happened in New York. And I continued till 2006 whenever I used to come on leave. But suddenly I found that the amount of time that I was putting into it on my leave, and even when I was traveling on leave, I was always trying to find out things on the mobile, which was not really a smartphone those days. So then I gave it up after some time, and I stuck just to the mutual funds in which I had made a little headway by then. And I was lucky because very soon this meltdown happened in 2008. And by then I was very much established in the mutual fund portfolio. And I just continued to put more and more money every month so that my units were increasing, but maybe not the corpus. And as a result, that when the market lifted after about 1.5 years, and everybody knows how things happened and how they went. There are similar lot of stories which are told by yourselves in this group, and it is very heartening actually. Every time, I mean, there are roughly 86 people who have reported completing their retirement corpus or near about that. So it is very heartening to see, and I sometimes, it's almost like as if my personal wealth is increasing because it's only as much that a person can do for himself. After this, it is always about trying to help other people of your creed, breed, or whatever you say. And I always felt that we as mariners were always on a disadvantage at every most of the social junctures of our life because when we used to be on board, our children would miss a lot of opportunities. The wife would miss a lot of functions, and it is still happening. It's not that it's not happening. The fact that contracts have become slightly shorter is a blessing, but we can't really say that it has become very easy. The life on board has become more and more challenging, and those who are pursuing it, they have my best wishes, blessings, and I would stand by them in every difficulty that you do. Since there are no queries coming right now, I don't see. So I will try to touch upon this topic, which I have been wanting to discuss for a long time. Uh, Last week, I have been back from Jaipur, where I had a talk to give to the officers of PIL, and mostly they were Indians, except six Burmese and six Sri Lankans, one from Montenegro, one from Ukraine, and one from Norway. So even though the generic talk was applicable to everybody, but insistence was obviously on the Indian economic system. And in the course of discussion with them, I realized that how lucky we are than the developed countries, and how lucky we are than the ones who are not so developed. So it's very important that we uh, understand where we stand as a country and what we stand to gain by being in the country. All these advantages which we think they are very we take for granted for ourselves. They are actually not something to take for granted. They are better than what we think we are getting. Yes, taxation is certainly an issue, and PC Chidambaram had said that nobody would pay, even if God was to do business in the country, he would not pay taxes. So that's a fact. But even starting from Chanakya's time, the taxation and revenue has been a very imperative part. Today, the farmers don't pay any taxes, though in those days, farmers were the only people who were actually paying taxes apart from the traders. Nobody else used to pay the tax in those days. I have read quite a bit on the taxation thing, a lot of books and a lot of presentations I have attended. So I can say that for certain that this is a new development. Just like your GST, the service tax part of it is very recent. It is a memory which I have. In fact, service tax was introduced after I became chief engineer. And slowly, where it was introduced only in 5, 6 services, so slowly it covered a lot more services. And now we are at a stage where, apart from 35% of the tax, we also pay a good amount in the GST. GST is also very complicated in the country. And as a matter of joke, I might tell you that if you go to a bakery and if you buy a packet of biscuits or a packet of rusks, you pay 5% GST. But if you buy a croissant or a cake, you pay 18% GST. So that is as complicated as it is today in the country. But that should not harm us. I would like to start from a point that we have come together on this forum, and I have started discussing these matters of finance, and you have started listening to me, and a whole lot of you have started investing, and some have done better than my own expectations, and you have achieved uh, your financial nirvana, as I call, at a very young age. So it is a good thing. But there are two aspects to it. That why did we go this way, and what did we actually achieve in this way by going for this mutual fund route or a slow increment of wealth? Nobody can claim that your mutual funds doubled overnight. like stocks. I mean, you can have a stock running up to 300% in a matter of weeks or months, and also downwards from that. So, but it doesn't happen with mutual funds. It's a very slow and tedious thing. And when I say mission OCR or mission 1 crore, what it means is that everything, all energy, concentration, patience, equanimity, जिसे हम समता भी कहते हैं, all that equanimity is required to focus on one single context, on one single thing, that the only thing in your hand is to do. And that is, even though I can speak for hours on this, unless you take that step and you keep moving on that step, there is no nirvana. But what do we achieve by when we reach in our journey to OCR? The more we move closer to OCR, or the more we are away from that OCR, what are we achieving in that? Are we able to get a peace of mind? Are we able to achieve stability of purpose? Are you able to just leave it on the side and this concentrate on your professional enhancement, or just simply earning the money? Are you able to give more and more time to your family? Are you able to be more interactive with your family? And family also means the extended family. Are you able to take care of the parents? And are we able to generally have a better purpose in life than when we started from? My mission is always to have people as joining as early as possible. That is when they are cadets. There were 9 female cadets in this seminar, or the seminar at Jaipur, and it was very heartening. And all 9 were female cadets, so that also made things more challenging, because females in general in the country are not encouraged to know more about finance, whereas my impetus is always that the females can be the torch bearers of this thing. And especially for mariners, it is impossible for you to continue with a good financial planning without the participation of your better half. It is not possible. It cannot happen. Even if it happens, it's only the half the work done. You may have collected the required amount of money, the corpus may have been made, but it has not served the purpose. It has not educated the family. Like Gandhiji said that if you educate a man, you educate a person. If you educate a woman, you educate the entire family, the entire society. So as we move towards this figure of OCR, if we have not achieved a stability of a personality, if we have not become patient, if we have not understood the complex nitty gritty of the economic system that the government or the country presents us with, if we are not able to understand the opportunities which were provided by the economic system of the country, if we cannot concentrate on that economic scenario of the country, we have actually missed out a lot of things. You should be able to appreciate in general the environment which the country presents. It's for no reason. Nobody loves India just to invest in it. They simply invest because there is a opportunity to do so. So far, this opportunity was only limited to the opportunity of consumption. We were such a huge number of people in the country that people thought of us as a market. That's what people thought. Previously, when the British India came, they thought of us as an opportunity which they could plunder and take away. But then people started thinking of us as a market where they could sell their things, and that is how different brands came. Now, this India of the last 10 to 15 years is a India of world participation, where things are getting made in our country and they are going abroad. Yes, that's fine. We make more mobiles, we make more cars, but at the end of it, we developing as a society? Maybe, because to participate or to interfere with the development of the society, it is not in our hands. But what is in our hand? When you move towards this figure of OCR, what happens is a person, when he becomes a little more patient, he becomes a little more steadfast, he starts thinking big. He knows that one biggest hurdle of his mindset, which was monetary or financial independence or stability or security that has been taken care of. And if he will just continue on the path, things will happen automatically. This a person understands by the time he achieves his figure of OCR. So when this happens, he generally, looks for other things. Like I keep getting very good queries from you that uh, should I do Vipassana? I want to do Vipassana, how to do it. So these are signals of people looking inwardly now. Because by that OCR thing, by the time it happens, mostly the person reaches his end of his senior rank, that is, he's a chief officer, second engineer, or maybe a little earlier also. In two, three cases are there like that, and he's ready to become a chief engineer or a master. So he is satisfied in his career, and there used to be a certain, undercurrent between the in the people when they would reach this stage after becoming a master and chief engineer at about 34, 35, that they would be, sort of struggling to get out of the job and pursue some opportunities ashore. Some of them wanted to become superintendents, which, of course, we still people are becoming more and more. And some people wanted to do business, or some wanted to do more studies and go somewhere else, which in most of the cases was not happening. And so they were becoming a little more, I would not call it frustrated, but yes, they were disturbed. But when a person is steady on his ground as a human being, as an individual who has come to terms with his family first, automatically the next step is to come to terms with the society. Because you can only come to terms with your family and you can do the best for them when you have come to term in your relaxed attitude inside. And then you start reacting to the family, that to the society outside, that what can I do there now? And both things go hand in hand. It is not that you look towards spirituality as some mumbo jumbo or rituals. That is not spirituality. It is something, spirituality, or in the Indian context, the word was dhamma or dharma. Dharma is basically our duties towards nature, the laws of nature which affect us. If suppose I get angry, so it does not matter which religion I belong to. The chemical reactions in my body, within my body, which happens, will happen to everybody. And only human beings are capable of this thing because they know all eight or nine forms of emotions, but animals only know two, three of them. Right. So that is the way we are differentiated from them. So as we move, we see that we were lucky in some way to be given an opportunity in the society where we could move little higher than what our parents were in economic terms, in social terms, and in various other aspects. We try to move ahead from there. And when we do that, we become thankful to the society for a lot of things. For example, I just celebrated my 60th birthday last month, and in that I called all my old friends. A person I call a friend who was 5 years older to me, so naturally he knows me for my entire life. So all those things were there, but I definitely took the names of so many people who are no more, but they were there around when I was a child, and they definitely helped me in my development, in growing from a infant to a child to an adolescent. They were there. They were not my school teachers, but they were definitely more important people, equally important people. I mean, this, I still remember the two conductors who used to be there in the school bus, and they used to take us from the bus stop and put us in the bus because the footboard used to be a little high those days. And the tea shop fellow who used to take us inside his shop when it used to start raining, even though we used to have a raincoat, but he used to take us inside. We still remember that Tonga wala, in whose Tonga five, six of us used to go to the school sometime just for the heck of it. All these people, they help us. And these people are largely the disadvantaged group of the society. And this we start understanding. We become more sensitive to it, towards them, when we are fulfilled in our own terms. And then you start deciding for them that what can you do, for them, how you can do for them, and how does it help them. You see, you may be having a lot of money and you put all of it in a bag and stand on the cross, on the choraha, on the crossing of your city, and shout that who needs money. There is not a single person in the city who will say, I don't need. And when you start throwing it, everybody will jump, whether they are rich or poor, they will jump at that money and take it and run away. So money cannot be distributed like that. You can not just start throwing away money. You have to involve yourself at the upliftment of the society. Why I started with the topic of taxation in the beginning was to tell you that even though it may seem unfair to some, but it is very important that part of our gains goes back to the society. Our mutual funds do not go up without the stock prices going up. The stock prices do not go up unless the facilities of companies are performing very well and there is a business model and the business uh, uh, is gaining in some way and there is a revenue stream which is turning positive. There is a profit which is being made, and beyond revenue and profit there is a cash flow back to the company. So this is the one unit of the company which is there present in all your funds. Unless all those companies do well, your mutual fund cannot do well. Your companies cannot do well unless there is a atmosphere of cordiality, business cordiality in the country. Yes, it is true that the businessman doesn't work for anybody except money. But by becoming a part owner of that, by being a shareholder through the mutual fund route, you are actually participant in his business. So when he's earning for himself, you're also getting a part of the share. So a mutual fund cannot do unless the stock does well. A stock doesn't do well unless the company does well. A company cannot do well unless the business environment in the country is well. And even if the business environment in the country is well, the company will not do well unless each and every person in the country is utilizing their services. I buy land in a particular year. After 25 years, I sell that land for 100 times more or 25 times more or 50 times more. And I gloat and I say, see how smart I am. And my property has appreciated so many times. But frankly, were we so smart to bring up the price of the property? Which part of our qualification actually brought the property rates up? We did not have any qualification. It was those small people of the society who made shops around it. Maybe the chai wala, maybe the cycle wala opened a shop to open punctures. Maybe that sugarcane juice fellow started. Maybe a cobbler came and started doing business there. And when it was a little established and there were small, shanties built around that area, the government made a road. And then in the matter of 25 years, it developed, and I was able to reap a benefit of 50 times or 100 times or whatever times. So when I was selling the property for 100 times or 50 times, what was correct? To take part of the money in cash and use it for somewhere else, which we know we are not able to use. I mean, you get anything more than a crore or 2 crores or 3 crores, what do you do with the cash? You just go and buy some more property in which you put some more white from your side. So you haven't actually enjoyed the fruits of your development. Okay, here we have Captain Sushant Mittal, whom I have to refer to a gentleman from Chandigarh. Sushant, please send me a message afterwards. There's somebody in Chandigarh who is looking forward to a distributor in Chandigarh. Is it okay? Right. So Sushant Mittal is a master and he's been with us for since the beginning, and he has taken some certificates and he has tied up with a company in Chandigarh to provide his services as a distributor. He's still sailing, as you can see. We can see his cabin from here, and he will. So most of you who are facing any issues with your KYC or initial investments, as my advice always is, start with a professional. And once you gain experience in this thing, and if you feel, you continue with the distributor, otherwise you go your own route. But always starting with a distributor is faster and good. So let me go back to that same topic of selling my land. and taking the spoils.
Sure, sir.
Suppose,
Anytime, anyone is free to call me or message
yeah,
me on WhatsApp.
I'll post your
You
this
can
thing.
share my number. No, no issue.
Yeah, I'll share your number, and I'll also put your name on, and pin you on the group. So I'll do that. So we have quite a few
Sure.
people now, right? Okay. So now this land which we purchased and we bought for 100 times and we sold it. Now suppose if we sold 100% for white, don't say nobody can do it. I've done it. And now you, from that, you have an option of buying some bonds which will give you some measly returns of 5%. And then you have to sell those. Luckily, those are capped at 50 lakhs. But suppose you don't buy those bonds also, and you decide to invest that money entirely by paying the capital gains, which now have come down to 12.5%. Earlier it was 20%. So now suppose you do that, what is the harm? How do you lose? You don't lose. Because again, what are you doing? You're doing things two way. And this is where I like to prove that how dharma helps actually. You have paid your fair share of taxation, which goes to the government, and it gets utilized. Please don't think it doesn't get utilized because all the facilities around us that are being provided, for which part of the facilities we have to pay, and part of them are being provided free to a large society portion of this country, which has about 61% to 66%. The figure is double, who are still in the poor, can be counted as poor. So it is shared with them. The 4 crore itself, or the 10 crore itself, did not belong to you. You just gave your part of the share. And you assume that this is what actually should go back to or the people around you, the government, they decided it should go back to the society. And now whatever was remaining with you, you just simply invested it in steps. The way we have decided that when you come with bulk money, put it in 5, 6 debt funds, and from there we take STPs and it starts getting invested. So you have done two things correctly. First thing is you have put practically a lot of money into the economy. You have injected that money, which otherwise would not have found place in the economic system of the country. But now it has found space in the economic system of the country. It is like a big jigsaw puzzle, and you have put one correct peg in the right place. On the other side, you have started investing this money, which otherwise would have been part black and would have only been good for buying you some second-hand luxury cars because you can't buy a new one with that, or some consumable items, which of course you can still buy. But largely, it has gone back to your investment stream. And there, by the virtue of whatever we are doing, you will find that it has done better. The way the market has been going on for the last 4.5 years, ever since the first lockdown today, people think it's an aberration in time. People are still waiting for it to correct. I don't know what will happen tomorrow morning, but people are still waiting that something disastrous will happen and we will get an opportunity to buy. But it's not that. The market has grown 3.5 times in last 4.5 years because people like you and me have somewhere in our hearts found that things can be done better by doing the correct thing. And so they have come down into the market, and only through the mutual fund route, which has grown 3 times in the last 2 years, we have found our calling. And we have seen the benefits, we have seen the fruits. So it is a direct offset, means first you injected that money into the economic system via the taxes, however way it was done. After all, we are not know-alls for everything. And on the other way, on the other side, you have done something for yourself by investing it into the market. And that is starting to give you returns. Both are happy. And this is the way, actually, the only way how we can do something for ourselves and we can do something for our society that we live in. It is okay. Everybody likes to take care of the family, and we think all the time that we should do this thing for the family. But I would think that there are a lot of things that we can do for other people also. I was not aware of the virtues of giving away. I will not use the wrong term as charity, but giving away, giving part of something that you have earned. You have earned with your labor. It didn't strike me. I remember in 2005 there was a tsunami which hit Tamil Nadu and Andaman Nicobar very strongly, and I did not. For 2 contracts I was working with one of the Indian companies. And I found that the company floated an appeal that JESCO has decided to donate this much to the Prime Minister Relief Fund. And so it is expected of the officers to donate as much as possible, at least 1 day salary. So I sort of shirk from there because for the simple reason that I cannot be, in my idea of doing away or giving away something, I cannot be part of association. I cannot be part of a group forcibly. Okay, if voluntarily people come together and want to do something, it is good, but forcibly we cannot. So I was the only person on the vessel who refused to contribute. All the same, I came down and I found this endeavor from India Today. They still do it every time there is a natural calamity or any such thing which happen. They always have a focused idea of collecting so much money and what exactly they will be doing in that location. They have the volunteers who go there and do it. This collection is always closed ended, means they collect so much money and then they stop. So I went through that route and it sort of made some sense to me. And after now another next decade, when I came down and I started doing vipassana, I came across the word something called sambhag. They don't call it dan, they don't call it donation. They call it sambhag. Sambhag means a part of my income, my hard-earned money. I am sharing it with those who don't have it. And what this does to me is it sort of melts my ego. It does not bloat my ego. It melts my ego in the sense that you feel that there is only so much you can do for a society or a person or a group of people, and so that starts making you a little more humble. I'm not saying I'm so humble right now, but yes, it does make a difference. It definitely makes a difference, and this is exactly what a stage is there which completes your, I would say, your journey, when you can say that this is exactly where I have found fulfillment of my dreams, where I participated in something very tangible in a correct way of the country that I was born in, where I was brought up, and I did something for myself. Internally, I became a little more enlightened and more emotionally intelligent. And this is the way I also looked outward from myself. And I thought that this people around me who are not there, not so fortunate as me, are able to be helped by me. These things I am not saying only on the basis of my own experience, but a lot of people who interact with me on a little more intimate basis, when they ask me that now what? All these people who reach between 2 to 3 CR and they say, and they like to have a call with me, or when I go to different cities, they meet me and they say, now what? And I also found this gentleman, he's 9 years our senior from DMET in the city of Chandigarh and Panchkula. And he's the president of IMEI Chandigarh. And he has so many endeavors running for the society. I don't like to use the word charitably, charity or charitable every time, because that shows that we are a little more charitable and that bloats our ego. But yes, it is in that direction. And I'm amazed at how much he can do. Anytime he's moving from one place to another and doing programs for children, doing holding different camps. So it is a lot of things that can be done in our capacity. And it is only when we start doing something for other people we realize that how evolved we get. And this is exactly the holicism of, or holistic approach of investment should be. First, we started from the mode of investment from the monetary point of view to achieve a stability, financial stability for ourselves. When we are on that path, we cannot continue to be on that path and then decide that after 50 years we will do something for the people. In that path only, you got married and you had children and you did everything for the family. You did all along this journey of achieving OCR or 2CR, whatever. And definitely in that direction, this also should be part of us. I am taking this opportunity to discuss it a little more vividly. Normally, this is what stays within me, but I think that it is very important to talk to you on this aspect that please look inwards you, and this is what the way which it should change you. Otherwise, it will just be a multiple of something. In 6, 7 years, by before you become master or chief engineer, you would have achieved your OCR. After that, even if you don't do anything, every 4.5 years, your wealth will double. Every 4.5 years, your wealth will double. By the age of 50, you will not know what to do with the money, right? So your overall development happens with your physical development, like the way we keep our body healthy by doing regular exercises while on board or off board, and we should do it. We should also do mental exercises, our emotional exercises, our spiritual exercises to keep ourselves fit. Otherwise, the exercise of earning money and watching it grow is a very boring thing. Like Warren Buffett said that if you are getting excited about the investment, it means you're not making much money. And if you're getting bored, then certainly you're making a lot of money. Generating wealth, if you are not doing a business where you are working every day, generating money is a uh, very boring exercise. So you have to develop something else inside you to complete yourself as a human being. The only reason why I have taken your 40 minutes to talk about this is because it is very important, because so far we as mariners were not known on shore, and whoever knew of us, they only knew that we earn a lot of money. There was these individual associations which came up in different cities like DSWA in Dehradun, where they started doing various social exercises for different people, like making visits to orphanages, holding blood donation camps, and children education, and they started doing. So this is also in that same direction, that when the companies came forward, like Anglo Eastern did in few cities, they started doing something for the people. But it didn't take much headway. And I think we are one of the most privileged community in the country, which can do a lot of things by getting together, try to create associations in your cities first, or if you want to go solo on your own, you can do that. But please try to help in the growth of your country. And the growth of the country doesn't really always come by having a business or investing properly in stocks and mutual funds. It happens in a lot of different ways. So that is the end of whatever I wanted to say. And now I would like to discuss things with you. If any other queries which have come up, because there are a few people who joined us afterwards. Today we also have see this lady with us who's a CA, and it's really great that she took off time to come with us and to be part of our this thing of our. She had come once before also, but there weren't many questions for her. So if you have anything, we can discuss with her. I requested my own CA also, but he could not find time. And we have one of the my elder sisters who is in US, and she's taken time to join here. So we have a motley this thing. So if you have any question for CA Jaya Mittal, you're most welcome to ask. We can clarify with her. Anything is in your way. Anybody? Puran, you seem to be joining the first time. Are you all right? Okay. Puranji? Hello, Puran.
Yes, sir. I just joined.
Yeah.
Actually, somebody
You're from Himachal,
suggested me
right?
something. No, no, no. I'm from Lucknow.
You're from Lucknow. Okay. So
Yes.
we have quite a few people from Lucknow on the group. And though I had, when I visited Lucknow twice, I had told them to make a association on this aspect also, because it's a very strong association there, mariners as well as the IMEI chapter, the Institute of Marine Engineers chapter is there. So you can touch with them, touch base with them, and they'll help you out with your investment this thing, techniques also.
Yes, I'm a part of that Mariners Welfare Lucknow.
Good, good. So VP Singh, Vishwanath Singh is my colleague from, and my fellow student from
Oh,
DMAT. He
okay,
was
sir.
1 year junior. Right, you met him. Okay. So anything else? Anybody has any queries? So we take it. Otherwise, we can move on with something. Important thing is that the market has dropped by 3.5% in the last 2 days, and you should pray that it falls another 3 to 5% tomorrow. And if it does, all those of you who are sitting with cash to be utilized, you should put at least 5 to 7% tomorrow. And if it further drops by another 5%, then you can put some more 10%. And that is what is called bulk buying or timing the market. This is what it is. But from my end, this only takes place in the purchasing section, not in selling. It should not be tomorrow it goes up, you sell, and then you wait for it again to buy. Luckily, this capital gain which has come, I'm sure CA Mrs. Mittal will agree that it is actually a boon for all of you because now you don't jump too much on either side by selling it. Yes, yes, Anjuji, I'll send you the details of this CA. Actually, she is from a different city, but I would think that you would want a CA in your own city, that is Dehradun. So she can also help you out. But since you are a US citizen, I'm not sure if she will be able to help you much with those laws there. But if you need for India, yes, she will be there to help you. I'll send you the details.
Thank you so much. And yes, certainly, if she sent me some information about Dehradun CA, that will be much
Yeah.
more helpful. Thank you so much, Rajiv.
Yes, yes, I would thought so because I know what you're dealing with nowadays. Anjuji was a neighbor, and her father was someone whom I featured on my Facebook a few times, and he was one of the biggest influence in my life. Why we the year we bought our first house when my daughter was 1, her father retired and we settled alongside, and my daughter grew up in his lap, and I learned so much about equanimity. I mean, this family had so much of losses in their life, but still I mean, losses in actual irreparable losses. But he was always very smiling. He had a very philosophical attitude, and it is, I would say, in a way, it was good that he passed away in Corpus Christi. She stays in Corpus Christi, and he passed away with them. But Nachal uncle was a very big support for me in different times for my family and everybody. Those are the kind of neighbors and the elderly people you should have around you. Okay, so I was talking about the markets tomorrow. So there's my wife going for her evening navratras. There she is, and some repair. I mean, some new fabrication is happening in front of me. So I'm in a little different setup today. So talking about the markets tomorrow, please, those seniors and those people who are sailing and who have money can take a call. They can make this transaction tonight also if you can, or you can do it tomorrow. But then when this mayhem kind of thing happens in the market, sometimes your systems are jammed in the day when the markets are open. So without actually looking at the market, if you like, you can invest something tonight, like I do. I don't wait for the markets to open up. Already individually, the indices have dropped by 3.5%, and some funds have dropped more than that. So if your funds are one of those, you can make a small investment in those. And however the market moves tomorrow, you can make another investment tomorrow night. Though why I'm saying is for those people who are on board, because you may not find the systems free when you want to do it. It is possible your net is not available at that time. So don't wait for to do it in the actual hours. You can do it a day before or the day evening afterwards. One NAV here and there doesn't matter. It will, with time, it will move up. But you will find that there are such opportunities are very rare. In the 35-year-old tenure of Sensex, there have been only 53 days when extraordinary returns have been there. And I also call this market going down as extraordinary because you get something cheaper than before. As I have shared this graph with you yesterday on the group, it is hardly a drop in the market. I won't really call it a drop. I would like to request CA Jaya Mittal if she could please tell us, Jaya ji, can you hear me? If you could kindly unmute yourself and tell us something about the taxation of the debt funds as it has taken place with the new rules as they were put out to us from 23rd of July in the new budget. If you could please tell us. Jayaji? Well, let me call her up first. If she is not, I think she's not listening to us. Because this mutual fund is giving a little confusing us in the sense that there are funds which you could have purchased before 31st of March to 23, and you wanted to sell it in present. She's not picking up the phone either, and I don't think so. She's on the call also. Anyway, let's see if she takes the call. It's okay. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. So now in this debt funds, there is a little confusion, and it's not actually confusion also, but I'm only calling it a confusion because again we have another budget in the month of February, 1st February, and we don't know how they will change this thing because this government is notorious for taking one step forward and two steps back. So we actually don't know what is happening. So we have three phases. First is the funds, debt funds purchased before 31st of March 2023, because then whatever the rules were brought in were applicable from 1st of April. And as per those rules, things would have been very good for us because your entire capital gains of the debt funds were being added to your income. That would have been the best thing because in that case, your salary up to 7 lakhs would not have been taken into consideration as income. So any gains up to 7 lakhs could have gone tax free. So whatever was purchased before 31st of March could have qualified for this rule. From 1st April onwards, it would have continued up to this year, 23rd of July. But 23rd of July, another budget was introduced and the government got another brainwaves and they said, no, there is no short-term capital gain. Now capital gain will be flat at 12.5%, and now you will be paying all your capital gains at 12.5%. So apparently, from that date onwards, whatever you sell will be taxed at 12.5%. But I am not sure if what you purchase from between 1st April 23 to 22nd July 23, 24, at which rate would it be sold? And what about the securities or debt funds that you purchased before 31st of March 23? How will they be sold now? Whether 12.5% will be applicable or will they be added to the income as per the previous rule? So this is a little confusion, which though I have got the notifications, but I don't believe it because the interpretations from the department are still awaited. I would like to tell you that you may be thinking that whatever is given in those two lines, everybody reads in the Income Tax Act for various purposes, that is enough. But that is not enough. When you read the Act, you should read the latest Act. Because my daughter was before an IRS officer, so I know this, that they come out with a different Act with the addition. That is why our income tax becomes bigger and bigger. Things are never removed. They are just changed and the change is added to that. Then after a few months, they come out with interpretations or clarifications from the department upon different lines. These interpretations and clarifications are just like your Marpol clarifications. You have this small thin book about Marpol 10 or something. So it's the same way they bring out interpretations and clarifications, which most of the time only the CAs are able to know and able to read. So it is very important to have in your team not only a distributor or an income tax advisor, but also not a mutual fund advisor, but you should also have a CA with you or a tax professional with you to give you the latest information. And you should dig it out from him. Don't expect for the information to come voluntarily. You have to dig it out from them. Just by filing your returns through him and paying that fees doesn't mean it will come automatically. So this is very important. And another thing that I wanted to think, and I think I missed that, it has gone out of my memory immediately. And so this is one thing about the tax. And a lot of people have been asking me about what to do because they have not been filing returns. This is a question which comes up perennially. Let me write one more point which I have to discuss with you. And this is about, yeah, so that how to plan our taxes. And I have not filed my returns in previous times. So how do I start? So firstly, you need is a tax professional, that is a CA, qualified CA, whether you take the help of various online things, whether you take help of Mr. Agarwal, Saket and Sachet Agarwal on the other group, whether you take help of Mrs. Jaya Mittal here, or whether you take help of Manoj Devgan, the CA in Dehradun. Doesn't matter, but you have to start. They will be able to guide you that how to start. Firstly, you must start filing your returns from current year, and then see what was your data available and status in the previous year. You should file for that also. Unfortunately, where the taxes are due, you have to be paid, and earlier they are paid, the better they are, because every month they go up by 1 to 1.3% every month. So that is the way you start. And in my all my presentations, physical presentations which I make, one of the first slides after explaining everything about inflation and things, I always say start legitimately. Unless you file your returns, your income doesn't become legitimate, even though you may have completed the requirement for a non-resident. For the simple reason that we are not non-residents. How can we be non-residents? You are in India. So, based on the number of stays that you spend outside the country, the income tax department and nobody else has given you the special privilege of becoming a non resident for not paying your taxes on only the foreign income that you earn, provided you stay for so many times, so many months, days outside the country. Now, that very department which gives you this privilege has not been informed that you are a non resident for the year 24-25 FY or AY 23-24. Right. Now, you see, the definition AY and FY itself is a little confusing, and I myself don't do things voluntarily. And whenever I'm paying taxes or additional taxes, I always phone up my CA and I do it in his presence or otherwise. So, you have to do that. So, by filing your return every year, precisely you become participants in your own future safety. Because suppose you are you don't fulfill your status of a resident, non-resident in the next year, but you have been a non-resident for last 7 years, not 9 years. Let's call it 7 years. So, how does your income earned and turned into wealth in the past 7 years get accounted for or becomes consolidated information for the department? The department is free to consider that you earned much more than what you are showing. Maybe you had some business running and which was not abroad. And so in that particular year, when you are a resident, you may lose the benefit of other things if you're not able to show your case in a positive way. My CA told me about the case of a gentleman from Mumbai who got a notice from the department saying that he has purchased so much of assets, and he has to provide this thing because he has not filed a return. Now, we don't understand that if you have a tax deduction of 20,000 rupees, even as a non-resident Indian, then you have to file your returns. Whether it doesn't matter that you want the money back or not, but you have to file your returns. It's a mandatory amongst a lot of other conditions, and one of 6 conditions also. So this gentleman sends a curt email reply. I am a non-resident Indian, hence I do not have to pay taxes, and that is all. Below that, he doesn't even put his name, and he expects them to understand who it is coming from, as if there are only so many people paying taxes or so many people who are non-residents. So this is not the kind of a reply that is expected. You're not dealing with a shipping company where you can be rude with the shore management and get away with. these people are serious people. They can ruin your life, as it happened in the case of one of my close friends, where this gentleman had actually fulfilled his NRI status, and but he did not file his returns, and he ignored the queries which came from the department, and the department just froze his FCNR, NRE, NRO accounts. Period. There was lakhs and lakhs of money sitting there. The department just froze it. I mean, he could not even pay tax out of it. So things get very scary nowadays, because there we are coming with a faceless system of income tax now, where you will not be dealing with people unless you are told to report to somebody. So please be very careful. This is one query which comes very regularly and comes from all people, the junior ranks, third engineers who have been sailing for 3 years, and also chief officers and second engineers who've been sailing for longer, and they have never filed returns. So please start. A very common query which comes to us is from the people who are already investors. Now they have been investing from the savings account. They may be having an NRE account and an NRO account, but they also have a savings account. And maybe they started investing into mutual funds, or they may have started buying some stocks from the savings account. It is possible they were not married that time, so they did not think of buying stocks in their from their wife's account or whatever. So that is the way. So in this particular case, the query is that what to do with the savings account. How do I harmonize it so now that I am a non-resident? Or maybe they were not aware of it. So the process is very simple. When you come back on leave, you approach CAMS or KFinTech with your documents and a letter from your bank manager saying that you are a non-resident holding account number so and so, and your own application saying that you are a non-resident and have a NRO account number so and so, and your earlier account was savings account this and this. So now your savings account is closed, and the cancelled check of the savings account and NRO account are enclosed with, and therefore the KYC of this folio should be done again as a non-resident, non-repatriable, because repatriable can only be done if you have invested from NRE account. Yes, this money and from NRO can be converted to NRE, but that is a little long drawn process and requires the interference from your CA also, because he will give you a certificate. But if you have been investing from your savings account, this is the way to get into the NRI mold. This folio will run parallel as a NRI, a non-repatriable basis. And then you can also, at the same time, with the help of your cancelled check of NRE account, start another KYC of NRI repatriable and start your fresh investments into the same or different mutual fund scheme. You can do the same scheme again with a new folio number and start investing as a non-resident Indian on a repatriable basis. A lot of people have asked me this repeatedly, and I don't understand why they are not able to comprehend. They say, why should I go to the NRE route when I can do it from the NRO account? They should understand that as an NRO account is almost like a savings account for non-residents. And all the money which they get from Indian sources can only go to one place, and it is NRO account. I'm not talking about NRO PIS or NRE PIS. I'm only talking about NRO accounts. You can even put cash rupees in this NRO account. It is acceptable, but this money cannot go anywhere else. And any interest earned on this NRO account is fully taxable at the highest admissible rate applicable. So it is very necessary that you do all your investments from NRE account. Secondly, the money to earn this thing of tax-free status should be done entirely received in the NRE account, because only then it earns the category of tax-free. Otherwise, it will not be accepted as a tax-exempt status, not tax-free, tax-exempt. So this is another query. The gentleman is not attending this call because he's on board, but I have already told him. And if somebody is recording this, I'm sure he will find a reply to it, though I have replied to him earlier today. but I'm unable to understand this. Secondly, that I request people is that they should, uh, when they find queries from people which are repeated and very elementary, where they need to start their investments, and these queries will normally come from people who are just joining. So in that case, these people can actually they can advise these people on the lines that we discuss here. Please do not answer to queries regarding stocks. Do not answer to queries regarding FNOs. We discourage those queries on our group. We are simple people who want to adopt simple methods and to enhance and grow our wealth in an organic way. Organic way, as you understand, means slowly and steadily. And that is the way which has worked for a lot of us, and it will continue to work for all of you. And keep a track with the latest happenings around new products which are being added, and see how it helps you around. And you will see that you are growing, and you have all my good wishes that you go on the way. So we can have a few queries if anybody has any once again. Otherwise, we can stop it and terminate it at this time only. We are a little lucky to be having only 1 hour on the table instead of the 2 hours regular that we have. Anybody wants to ask anything, you can. Please feel comfortable, because here we are normally talking with people who are like ourselves, and there should be no hesitation. I mean, maybe your name is visible here, but it is not necessary that other people are there. You don't have to tell your exact portfolio here, how many crores you have. Okay. In that case, if there are no queries, we can call the meeting to an end here. Is that okay, gentlemen? At least say bye. मनीष,
Sir,
या
I just
मुझे
want
मालूम है
to
मनीष आप ही बोलोगे. लास्ट टाइम भी आप ही लोगों को कह रहे थे कि कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछो, नहीं तो बंद हो जाएगी मीटिंग. ओके, बताइए.
Yeah, sir.
बताइए मनीष.
I'm just asking that if suppose tomorrow market falls by 2 to 3%, means total 5% from the top, then how much where should we invest? Means where should we invest in large cap, small cap, or flexi cap, or mid cap? Where should we?
My advice would be the flexi caps. Though the market has dropped across the board, but I would think that if you are having multi caps and flexi cap, those are the right funds to invest at this stage. Later on, if we see, like going forward, if we see the small caps have dropped 10%, then it may be a good idea to invest something in small caps or in mid caps. That is okay. If you want to invest in mid caps, then it is a very good. Uh, yes, it is. It will be very nice. I'll just go off the camera because I'm required by this technician here. So I'll just go there and I'll continue to answer your questions also. So it would be good, but at this moment, I would think that it is better that you invest in a flexi cap. And if you have to invest in the small cap, then do it in the index fund. That is a HDFC or 250, small 250 or wherever. अभी ये one side हो गया ना?
Yeah, but for this 5% fall, we should
अच्छा,
invest
तो
in
थोड़ा बड़ा लगा दूंगा मैं, लाकर बाद में बड़ा वाला वो लगा दूंगा. ठीक है.
flexi cap
हाँ
or
हाँ, टू स्विच ला दूंगा. इसमें देखो, इसमें 2 स्विच वाला है क्या?
ये वाला थोड़ा सा बड़ा.
इसमें देखो 2 स्विच वाला है क्या? स्विच भी होंगे इसमें बॉक्स में. तो फिर मैं उनसे कल हॉल करा. Yeah, so I'm having actually, sorry, but I'm getting this crockery thing made because the earlier was eaten by termites. So the gentleman is working here. So that's what. Right. So you said something, Manish? Please go ahead.
yeah. So we should means invest in flexi cap or multi cap.
Yes. Multi cap and flexi cap at this time would be the right thing, because large caps, I feel they haven't really corrected that much. And out of your holdings, whichever you feel is more, has dropped more, you can invest in that also. Though mutual funds actually have not dropped as much as the market has dropped, and at least not for me. My beta of my portfolio is roughly 0.6 to 0.7, which means that when the market drops by 1, my portfolio drops by 0.6 or 0.7. But it is also the same case that if suddenly there is a spurt in the market my portfolio doesn't go up as much as the market. So in the end, it takes the median stance. Is it okay? Yes,
Yes, sir.
Puran,
Yes.
go ahead. I'm
Thank
very
you, sir.
happy to get a question from you. Right. Thank you, Manish. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Puran, go ahead.
So I was eager regarding any global funds like ETF, which where we can invest more, because I recently invested in one Hang Seng these ETF fund. So I'm not very sure
ETF
about
means okay. ETF you are
global funds.
okay. You are already into stock investing. That means
Yes.
okay.
It-
So see, the thing here is that the problem is that you must understand that when a ETF is introduced in anything, there is also an index fund of it which is there. Most of the time, it is like this. Means the same kind of fund will be there available as an ETF, and there will be a corresponding part as an index fund also. So now try to understand that when you have a index fund or a fund, let's call it a yeah, why not index fund? It is a fund, so it has a NAV. This NAV is based on the actual value of the stocks which are underlying it, just like our Indian mutual funds, right?
yes. Yes.
But when the corresponding part of it comes as an ETF, what it takes up is the shape of trading stock. Means its value is dependent upon the demand and supply of the funds, of the number of units on the stock terminal that is you are using. You understand what I am saying? There is a difference between the NAV and there is a difference between the trading price of a ETF. So I can suggest certain ETFs to you, but you should be careful, as I have, because I'm not tracking them, but I have been informed that the value on the ETF segment for the same mutual fund is almost higher by 30% also. So don't think when you are buying a ETF, you are getting the fair value of the ETF. You get the point?
Okay. Okay. So it's not like
So
an
whenever you
NAV.
buy, yes. So at this moment, because the government, why this is happening, you must also understand why this is happening. This is happening because these people, the RBI has restricted these people from investing more than 8 billion in the foreign stocks, direct stocks. So now all these funds they have to invest somewhere in direct stocks or to buy this thing or in foreign feeder. We are basically feeder funds to most of the international funds. Like Franklin Templeton invests in something, Edelweiss invests in some other feeder funds. So those funds are the main funds, and we are the feeder funds. So the SEBI has not changed. Sorry, RBI has not changed that figure, and it is still stuck on 8 crores. So now, like funds like Parag Parekh, Flexi Cap Fund, it has a mandate of investing almost 30% of its money in the foreign stocks directly. That is why everybody is suggesting buy Parag Parekh, and its AUM has grown so high. You get the point?
Yes. Yes.
But it cannot buy any more stocks. Even though the stock prices have gone up, it is not able to buy any more. So now in terms of stock numbers, he's only having a 60% exposure to the US stocks. Whereas earlier it used to be almost 30 to 35%. So when this happens, the index funds still will reflect the actual value because they are having the underlying value of each US or whichever stock you are talking about. But ETF, because of the fixed number of units which are floating on the market, its value will keep increasing because the demand is increasing. So many times the stock value is not the correct interpretation of the company, right?
Okay, sir.
It is a illustration, it is a display of the number of stocks that are floating in the market. Like, for example, MMTC or Zandu Pharma, the price or MRF, the prices are high because there are very few number of stocks floating, which people can buy. Similarly is the case with these foreign ETFs or even Indian ETFs in certain cases. So I would suggest that when you want to invest in a foreign fund, I would suggest that you do it by the way of index funds. Like Motilal Oswal, it has a Nasdaq 100 index fund. So though
Yes.
I have purchased in the past, I have purchased a lot of this thing of N100 as an ETF. But I would suggest that you buy it as an index fund. Similarly, S&P 500. Like I just basically go by the broader index. That is where I would like to invest. So S&P 500 is a collection of 500 top stocks of Standard and Poor, and it
Yes.
has all the non-technical stocks in its portfolio. Even those, I would suggest at this time that buy it as an index fund. Do not go as an ETF because we do not know the actual value. There will be a huge difference or the tracking error, as we call it, between the NAV and the underlying the
Current
trading
price
value,
level.
the
Yes.
trading value. So don't go by that. That could be the fake, false, signal or the false price and not the correct underlying value. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now we have Arpit. Yes, please, Arpit.
Good evening,
How are
sir.
you? Good
Sir,
evening. Good evening.
since last week I have been researching a little bit on the total market BSC and Nifty 500
Correct.
funds.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
what I realized, sir, that even if I backdate it to almost 10 years,
Uh
any
huh.
portfolio at my age, what I was able to make was
Uh huh.
almost equivalent in all respects to the uh, Nifty 500 or BSE 500 fund, sir. Even though I was comparing it with my portfolio and I was comparing it with the FlexiCap equity on Value
Okay. So
Research.
what you're saying is that the collection of the funds that you have, if you compare it with Nifty TMI Total Market Index or BSE 500, the results are almost the same, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So thank you very much and congratulations. This is the kind of research that I was looking for because I have been doing it, but I don't get so much time. I'm so busy with doing nothing. So this is exactly what I was trying to think, and I did the same research, but I did it with US index, and I found that the US 500 index or the US total market index has also performed in the same way in their country. So this is a very good reminder that now for those who are entering the market first time, they should also have this TMI, which is in the hands of Grow today. Or otherwise, we have to look for Nifty 500 index funds. I'll see who has launched that. So we can start investing in those and start moving in a slow fashion. And as it gains momentum, the more and more companies launch their total market index fund or Nifty 500 or Sensex 500 funds, we should start investing in those because we have to evolve with the things that are. And this difference between, see, we have already cut down the difference to 1% in expense ratio by going for direct investing. Now, if we cut down further by 0.5% by investing in index funds of reliable indexes, you see, the word is reliable because we grow. I'll tell you the story how we grow. I have told this on the last time also. But no, now if we do that, then definitely we will find that if we can simply invest in this index fund and it gives us the same returns, then why should we do anything else? Isn't it? After all, the government officers and the organized sector, they are investing in NPS, right? And the NPS is investing about 50% to 75% in equity and remaining is it in government bonds and corporate bonds. But we don't know what index they are investing in. So at the end of the day, people all over the country are depending upon these fund managers to give them a good return. Now, somebody has to carry out a good research to compare that is the NPS equal to this total market index, right? You understand what I'm saying? So, what the research which you have done is very valid, and let me connect directly with you on Telegram or WhatsApp, and I'll talk to you about your research that you have done, and we will build a little more solid foundation on this. I don't see anybody's hand up, so I can just narrate my evolution from large cap downwards. You see, the large cap Nifty 50 has 50 stocks in it, and we always buy the index. A lot of people are still on the large cap index. Somebody told me yesterday, sent a message. Now, we also discovered that basically it is the next Nifty which is giving better returns. Why? Because only when a fund does better in the next Nifty, that is the next 50 stocks of the market, only then it becomes better. You get my point, what I'm trying to say, right? So now
Yes, sir.
we buy stocks in the next Nifty. And then somebody comes along and tells us that, hey, there is another index called 150 mid cap index. And only when the stocks in 150 index do better and they go to the next Nifty, that is the junior Nifty. So they have already done well and gone there. So basically, those stocks have already run up when you bought them in the next Nifty. Stocks were same, but after 3 months, 4 months, 5 years, they have gone to that. So you have lost out on their growth when they were in the mid cap category. So okay, after Nifty and next Nifty, now you start buying mid in 150 index, right? And then somebody says that there were stocks which were there actually in the small cap category, and over a period of time they found their place in the mid cap. So now you consider those 250 stocks also. So again you are back to 250 stocks and plus 500 stocks, right? Am I correct? So
Yes, sir.
in this category, instead of all this allocation and buying different funds, it is very possible that after next 2 3 years or 5 years, we would be only be investing in one Nifty 500 index or the total market index and maybe one small cap fund and one flexi cap fund just for comparison. Maybe everybody will have this kind of portfolio. Probably, I cannot say. And if anything will be there to stop us, it will be that capital gains which prevents us from jumping here to there. So what you are saying is very valid. It is correct, and it might happen, and we have to work on it. Because when I say something, on the group, it should be followed by at least my experience, even if it is for a short time, and of course the research which has been done on the market and all. But I was looking forward to this, and I think we will have to move on to this category sooner than later. And all of you who have established their portfolios by buying 5 6 funds should now start investing in this category. Let me find out one or two index funds in the Nifty 500 category, and I will share it on the group. Is that okay? Yes,
Sure,
please.
sir.
Okay. Right. Anybody else wants to ask any question? Otherwise, we can just stop it here and reconvene next Sunday. I hope I did
Sir,
not
Mrs.
bore
Mittal has
people.
come. Mrs. Mittal has come now. She has raised the
Okay,
hand also.
okay. Jayaji, I gave you a call. Yes,
Yes,
please.
sir. I was on an urgent call from office at
Yes,
that time.
I understand. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so
Yes,
much
yes.
for coming to our this thing. And
Yes, yes.
there was a question, ma'am, that I had asked everybody. I mean, I had asked you for everybody. And the question was
Okay.
regarding the taxation of the debt funds.
Okay.
Now, as you know better than all of us here, that the debt funds have been taxed in 3 ways in the past 2 years. Means up to
Yes.
31st of March to 2023, they were being taxed in a particular way by the way of indexation and non-indexation.
Yes.
But
Yes.
from the 31st of from 1st of April 23, they said that there will be it will only be added, the gains will be added directly to your income. So
Yes.
this actually people was criticized, but I found that it was a very good method for us, in the sense that most of us do not have any other income apart from the
Yes.
tax exempt income. So I was thinking that one would have to actually sell for debt funds for about 1 crore to get to that figure of 7 lakhs as capital gains. So I was very
Yes.
happy from 1st of April to 22nd of July this year. And now from
Okay.
22nd of July, they brought in another rule that I think now you'll be taxed at 12.5%, right? For the debt funds.
Uh, debt funds, see, earlier in old regime, it was as you mentioned correctly, that it was taxable differently. Uh,
Yes,
if you are selling debt fund within 36-month period of holding, it was
yes.
taxable as short term capital
Short
gain,
term capital.
and
Yes,
the rate was as per your normal tax slab in which you
yes,
are
please.
falling. And
Yes, please.
for long term assets, that is, if you are selling after 36 months, it was
Yes, please.
taxable as 20% rate, and you were
G.
also getting
Yes.
the benefit of indexation, right?
Indexation. Otherwise, yes, yes.
Yes. And now
So my
in
question
new
is simply is which you can actually if you don't have the notes, you can tell us
Yes.
later on also, that
Okay.
what happens to the funds that I purchased before 1st April 2023 and I
Okay.
sell it after 23rd July 24. And what
Oh,
happens to the funds that I purchased after 1st April 23 and I sell
yes.
them after 23rd July 24? My question is
So,
basically restricted to this.
yes, yes. Okay, I got it. So, for funds you have purchased up to 31st March 2003. Am I correct regarding
Yes,
the period?
yes, 23, yes,
Yes.
31st March.
So if you are selling them after this budget came up, I don't
Yes, yes,
remember
23rd
the date.
July,
I think it's 23rd
23rd
July.
July.
Yes, right.
G.
So if the period of holding is up to 24 months, it will be
G.
considered as short term. Okay.
Okay,
And if the period of holding is more than 24 months, it will be considered as long term, which was earlier 36 months in
okay,
old
okay,
system. Okay.
okay, okay.
So if it is short term, that means you are selling within 24 months, it will be
Hmm.
taxable as at normal slab rate like
Hmm.
earlier. So
G.
and the period is, if the period is more than 24 months, now it will be taxable as long term at the rate
G.
12.5% without indexation benefit.
Okay, if it is sold now and it was purchased after 1st of April.
So if it is purchased after 1st of April,
G.
then there is no concept of this period of holding. All the
Yes,
mutual funds which you have purchased after 1st April 2023, they
23.
will be taxable as short term capital gain only at a
Yes,
normal slab rate.
at the
They
normal
have,
slab rate.
yes, for all the debt funds which you have purchased after 1st April 2003, they have quashed this system of short period of
Yes, yes,
holding.
yes.
Yes,
So
so
means
this is the
now
scenario.
even if we purchase before 31st of March
Yes,
23 and we sell it now, so that it has not really completed 24 months, right?
yes, yes. So you can sell them. They will fall in short term category only.
Right. They will fall in short term and they will be added directly to my income. So that,
Yes,
right?
yes. Slab
Okay,
rate at
okay.
slab rate only.
Right, right.
Yes,
Thank you so much. So
yes.
I will just request you to do a little more for us. And if
I
these
will,
three
I
things,
will, I will
write it.
share one table. I have made one. I don't have
Right,
right now, but I will share later on in group
right, ma'am.
with
That will be
time
very
period.
nice.
Time
Yes,
period.
ma'am. That will be very nice because this is going to be one of the basis of our issues because most of us will now be following the STP system instead of the SIP system,
Ah,
by
yes.
which we will be putting
I
most of our
heard in
money.
last
Yes,
session. Yes.
yes. So then it will be going from debt fund to there because as per my formula, I have put a cap on the NRE FDs. So people
Okay.
would be encouraged to put more money in the debt funds. And we are also
Okay.
looking at some rates going down now, the
Okay.
bank rates going down, in which case the debt funds, as you know, would be beneficial. Thank you,
Yes.
ma'am. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
and for joining us. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
So thank you,
Okay.
gentlemen. Everybody, if anybody has a question, we'll break off here and we'll reconvene next Sunday, same time.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay.